Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today is a bit of a learning curve for me as well. We've got this monster of a gun. It's the classic army minigun, and my friends dropped it off to me as a HPA version. My friends dropped it off as it's leaking when the tank's plugged in. So we're going to be doing a strip down and yeah, seeing what's wrong with it. Maybe it needs a re-lubricant. Until we get inside, I really don't know. So like I said, I'll be learning at the same time as stripping it down, and I hope you find it useful. So I have had a quick look at it. To what we need to do, we need a posi screwdriver and a selection of Allen keys to do this. So we're going to start off around the back here. And we're going to strip out all of these screws. Now this handle was snapped in half as well, so there was a crack all the way through and it was completely broke. So what I've done is I've plastic welded it all together, sanded it all down and resprayed it as well, why not? I've got it here, I might as well do it. Not got much else to do like the weekends, so yeah, I thought I'd do that for him as well. So whip all these screws out. There's quite a few of them. If I saw this coming my way, I'd just run the other way on the field. It just looked mean. I wish I had some gas in my tank to show you guys it running after, but I've ran out at the minute. I need to get it filled up from my local site or buy a dive bottle, you know, one of the two. So to get the last screw out, we need to undo this Allen key here to get to it. So just whip that one out. We might as well take the other one out as well, because it's part of the handle at the same time. Like that. Just put my screwdriver up, it's dropped on the floor. And now we can get access to that last one in there. Once we've undone all those, we're just going to lift this part of the handle up. I want to get something in there just to pry it a little bit. So just pry it open, run your screwdriver all the way around. That's it. And then just gently lift that handle section up. Okay. He says. Maybe this bottle's in the way. Okay, let's whip this bottle off as well. So there's two screws here, which I'm undoing now. That one and this one. Like that removes the lid, put that to one side. And then there's also, oh, screwdriver's dropped again. There's two Allen keys here, two Allen key bolts on this bottle as well. So there's one there, one there. If we just remove those. Like that, and put that to one side. Now we can lift the handle. So just gently lift that. You can leave all the screws in place. Just put that to one side. Now we can see some of the piping, the triggers, and all the wiring as well. So we're just going to disconnect all of this. So to get these pipes off, we're just going to pull down on that and just pull the pipe at the same time. So black goes in the black, clear goes in the white. Once we've done that, we need to disconnect the electronics. So dead easy, black on black, blue on blue, red on red. When it comes back to putting it back together. Okay, so for now that can go to one side. Nothing we need to do with this at the minute. Okay, put that to one side over there. And now I'm just going to take this tubing out here. So again, just pull down and literally pull it out like that. In fact, I'm going to take the whole thing off. Like that. Just so it's out of my way. I don't want to damage it, break it or anything. So hang that up somewhere so we don't get any dirt on it. Now we can go ahead and take the other handle off. So to do that, flip the beast over and whip these two bolts out. Oh, before I do that, I'm just going to show you this plastic weld that I was on about. So you can see it all in here. Move this because it's focusing on that. You can see it all, it was all broke. And all I've done is needle stitched it back together using a soldering iron. Both sides, this side and that side. And then like I said, sanded it all back to how it should be and resprayed it. So yeah, I think he'll be pleased with that. Because that wasn't part of the job. So back to this. With them two bolts out there. Like that. And once that's off, the other handle, the other half of the handle will just come off. Put that to one side. Okay, so we're going to remove this tubing here. Remember, white on clear, black on black. Remove that one as well, just hang them up. Now we're going to remove this large section here, which has got your MOSFET in and the wiring. So to do that, it's two small screws there, posi screws, and two Allen keys on this side, which I'll show you in a second. So these ones are slightly smaller. So on the wiring side, they're slightly smaller ones. And then we've got the two Allen keys in there. One there and one there. And that is the next size down. I'll whip them out. Oh. Okay. So that's what turns these 4 barrels at the front then. It's on like a cog system. So it was, you can see the splines inside there, and these interact with that. It's like a small motor. Clever. Okay. We don't need to touch anything, any part of this. It's nothing to do with the air system, so it doesn't need meddling with. So set that to one side. Now we need to remove the 4 barrels out of the front of this, and to do that, I believe it's this giant Allen key here. So I'm just going to turn that way and get the appropriate size Allen key. This one, and just that is quite tight. Remove that big giant Allen key, and then I'm hoping this just slides out. Yeah, there we go. So essentially that's just a case sleeve. There's nothing to that now. That's just a dummy cover. So that can go to one side as well. We don't need that. So, where are we? Ah, there we go. So once that Allen key is off, that just pops out, which is the base cover, which is housing, looks like a reservoir for the gas, the HPA. Now, looking at this gasket in here, it looks to me like it's gone in dry, or the lubricant's run out. Because if you look carefully, I don't know if you'll be able to see it on the camera, but the rubber's actually a little bit perished. So it's not looking great. But we'll see what we can do. What I'm going to use is some Zeus juice to put all this back together once I've cleaned all the components. So this is HPA lube. You should only use HPA lubricants on HPA rifles. There's this one, then there's the gun salve, Tech gun salve, I think it's called, something like that. So that one, this Zeus juice is from High Pressure Airsoft. It's one of their own brands. I've found it to be very good. So go ahead and get everything cleaned up. This part, the inside of here, we don't need to use water or anything like that. Just give it a good clean with a nice, clean rag. Alcohol wipes, if you've got alcohol wipes, get anything off that you need to get off. And clean that rubber up best we can. This one. And we'll go from there. So I'm just going to clean all that up and then I'll come back to you. Okay, so we've got all the parts cleaned up now. And what we're going to do is put a small bit of this HPA lubricant around the channel to where the rubber is going to sit. So wipe it all the way around. Nice even coat, it's good enough. So then we're going to reinsert the rubber. God, it's such a big gun to work on. It's hard to get it. It's hard to get it all in the camera. So set that back in there nicely, like that. And then we're going to put some lubricant on the top of the rubber there as well. Sorry if I keep going out of focus. It's a large weapon to be working on in the camera. Okay, so once that's on, that rubber's back in, we can go ahead and put this part back in. So it's like the cap, the cover, whatever you want to call it. That's just going to go in like that. That's a nice snug fit. Okay, so now we can bring back the body, and it all corresponds with the back of this plate as to how it goes back together, how the body goes back on. So you've got all your different inputs and that, and on the back of the body as well, it corresponds with all the different holes. So let's slide that on like that. Nice. So that's back together, and we're going to put back that giant bolt, which is here. So nip that up, and that's sat back together. Now we need to put the cock side back on. When we do this, we need to make sure these wires are not going to get crumpled up. So there's a little channel as to where they sit in there. Just inside, so they need to neatly sit inside that channel. We don't want to squash any of those. Easier said than done. I don't know the best way of doing this, to be honest. Okay, so we're going to hold them like that. I'm just going to feed that on there and start putting the Allen key bolts back in. Tricky. It's tricky trying to hold it all and get it all lined up properly. Like I say, this is a new one to me as well. Okay, one Allen key bolt's in. Now I'm just going to check these electric wires, make sure they're in the channel, and they are. Good. So remember, these are the smaller of the screws. Like that. Screw those two up. Don't over tighten them. It is only plastic, so we don't want to thread it. We don't want to strip the threads. How does that go in? Oh, there. Pretty blind. So that's it. Again, just make sure them wires are in the right place and we're not going to squash them. 100% happy with that. I'm just going to double check where them wires are. That's better. Yeah, one wasn't sitting right. That's one in. And the other one. Like that. Now I can turn it over and I can put the other Allen key bolt in. Like that. Just make sure that's spinning okay. That's spinning. That's good. That means all the teeth have lined up. Right, once we've done that, we can start putting the trigger and all that stuff back in. So you want to grab 1/2 of the handle, and that's going to sit in there. Let me figure this out. I like that. So the wire, there's a groove there for the wires to sit in. So these wires, when they come up, they're going to sit in that groove so we don't trap them. Okay, so I've got that side of the handle on, and I've made sure I've not trapped the wires whilst bringing it back up. The next thing we need to do is put the two tubes back in, which they're going to sit like that. It just follows the shape of the handle. Before we put those in though, I want to put a bit of lubricant on them as well, because you can't get to the rubbers inside the pressure fittings, so we're going to put it on the outside. So when it goes in, it lubricates it at the same time. So there's one, and they just simply push in. And then the second one, lubricate it like that. And that one just pushes in as well. Yeah, so like I said, I'm still learning. I've put them in the wrong way around. So it's the longer end that goes up there like that. Okay, so let's lubricate this end as well. Show them why I sit underneath. Bang. And we'll take that one out. Lubricate that end, switch it round. Like that, and straight in. You can feel it when you push it in, that it sits how it should sit. So next we have got the trigger unit. I've already lubed them ends because we did it when we did it in there wrong, so we can put those in like that. There we go. What's going on? Oh, trigger pin. So trigger pin. Make sure they don't fall out. Like so. So this is really fiddly, I'm not gonna lie. I know it's taken bit longer than I planned, but you can fast forward what you don't need to watch. Right, so that's all back in, that's back in place. Now we've got to do is connect the wires up. So that's dead simple. Like we said, red on red, blue on blue, black on black. There's 1, 2, 3. And I nicely tuck them wires in to the handle. Just make sure they're all sitting well. And then we've got, where is it? This part. So now we're moving on to this funny shape here. Lubricate that end before we put it in. Just push it in like that. Once that one's in, just pull that one back, leaves the pipe. I'm just going to lubricate that bit as well, and then push that back on like that. Same with this one. Just disconnect it, lubricant on there, and put that back in. This way we're making sure everywhere it's tight, because it's got the lubricant holding everything together. So once we're happy with all of that, we can put the second half of the case on, which is here. And that will just sit on like that. So it just snaps shut. Just feels like it's trapping something, so I'm just going to have another look. I think it's these big connectors on the wires, to be honest. Just try and fit them as good as we can, tuck them in so they're not sticking out anywhere. We don't want to be trapping any of the wires. Okay. That's better. And now we're going to zip all them screws back up. Okay guys, it's all back together. Put that bottle on, that was the last thing to go on. I haven't really got enough air in my tank to show you it firing, unfortunately, as much as I want to. You can see I'm on half a bar, which is not enough, but it's enough. It's enough to see if we've fixed the leak. So let's go ahead, moment of truth, and see if we have fixed it. That's on, and it's deadly silent. We've eliminated all the leaks, and there was quite a few of them. So if you have got leaks in your system, that's the best way to eradicate them. If that doesn't work, even with that perish rubber that we had in there, I've still managed to get a seal on it. So if it doesn't work, you're going to have to start replacing a few bits. But luckily for this one, it's worked, and yeah, it's been a learning curve for me. Like I say, it's something new. I've never worked on anything like this, so I'm quite pleased with that. I'm just going to show you it firing. It's got no ammo in it, so, but you can hear it. You can hear the air coming out of that, firing through the barrel. And good. Can't wait to have a go with it when we get back to the field. I'm quite looking forward to it. So yeah, thanks for watching guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. Like I say, it's more of a learning curve for me and for anybody that's not ever stripped this down or stripped one down like it. So yeah, I hope it's helped, and I will see you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.